This is the Lathrup Village Planning Commission meeting of Tuesday, August 20th, 2019. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask everybody to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, could we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Chair Piotrowski, Vice Chair Kopus, Secretary Hammond,
Present.
Board Member Hulieza. Here. Board Member Cantor,
Present.
Board Member Stansberry,
Here.
and Board Member Townsend.
Here.
Mr. Secretary, you have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. So moved and seconded. Is there any discussion about the agenda? Any changes? Very good. All right. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The agenda is approved.
Make a motion to excuse Mark Piotrowski and Bruce Kopus.
Do we have a second?
Second.
So moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? And the commissioners are excused. Thank you. Okay, now we need to go through approval of meeting minutes. First off is the meeting minutes from the regular meeting of July 16th, 2019. Do we have a motion to approve such minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from July 16th, 2019.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Is there any discussion about the meeting minutes? Any adjustments? Very good. With that, all in favor of approving the meeting minutes from the regular meeting of July 16th, 2019, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting minutes are approved. We also need to review the meeting minutes from the joint meeting with the City Council and Downtown Development Authority of August 5th, 2019. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the joint meeting minutes from August 5th, 2019.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Is there any discussion about the meeting minutes? I don't have my notes in front of me, but I think I saw a couple of just minor corrections.
I don't make those changes.
Okay, thank you. All right. And any other discussion? Very good. All in favor of approving the joint meeting, the minutes from the joint meeting of August 5th, 2019, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. And we're at the point in the agenda where we will entertain public comment for any items not listed on the agenda. It does not look like there's anybody from the public in the room today, so we'll close that part of the meeting. And we'll now move on to item 6, which is new business and discussion of the public participation plan.
All right.
Help us out, sir.
So hopefully you have all had a chance to review briefly the public participation plan that was included in your packet. This is an update from the 2014 version when it was originally adopted. There aren't too many changes to it, so I'm just going to walk through the document, point out some of the changes, and then there were a few spots where we had some questions if you thought that any more public participation might be warranted for certain types of planning events and projects and things like that. So just to get us started, we're just going to start. This is the cover, if you've seen it in there, so if we can flip to that page. I'm just going to kind of walk through the pages. It does go over the goals and objectives of why, or of what the purpose of the public participation is, why we do it, hopefully the intended outcome. So it goes over those 5 items on page 2. Page 3 talks about the state regulations on public participation. So this is where we get into the Michigan Open Meetings Act, the Michigan Planning Enabling Act, and the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act. Those are 3 laws that require public participation at various points of the planning process. The other reason that we are doing this today is the handout that I actually gave you as part of it's 1 page of a 20-page packet from the MEDC on their redevelopment ready community. Lathrup Village is a part of that, and as a part of that, it's some ongoing updating your public participation plan and ongoing training is required. So it's good, it's a good refresher to remind ourselves why we ask the public these questions and what we're actually supposed to do with that information. It's more than just obviously it's taking that into account and really thinking about how it affects the whole community and really putting that into work. So those two reasons, both the state regulations and the redevelopment ready community guidelines, are two reasons that we're going over this today. So the next couple of pages talk about the Michigan Planning Enabling Act. So you're actually going through, if you flip to page 4 of that, this is relevant right now because we're all kicking off the Lathrup Village Master Plan update. So as part of that, that actually requires quite a bit of public participation. Number one, we have to, the city needs to send out an intent to plan to all the surrounding communities to let them know that you're going through this process. They might have input and they're aware. So it's just a way to keep other communities involved. So that's where we're at as far as the master plan update goes, is we're in the beginning stage and we've sent that out.
So have we already done that in a communication to the sign?
I know Giffords-Webster has sent the language to the city. I'm not 100% sure if that has been posted
Which city?
online. To Lathrup
Lathrup
Village.
Village.
Yes, to the staff here. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to confirm it's been posted. But it does need to be done just sort of in the beginning stages of your plan, so you haven't missed the deadline or anything yet.
Okay, is that something that your office does, or is that something
I believe
Giffords-Webster
that's.
does?
We would work with the clerk to make sure.
Yeah, so we'll just make sure, so that is kind of where we're at now. So keep an eye out for that, or when you see that, that's what that means. Other communities, if you see it, they're intending to plan. So the next page kind of goes over getting into the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act. This might be, this kind of gets into the public hearing notices. If you're amending the map or the text, it goes over those. So this is more related, these are things that, us, the planners, need to know, and we'll let you know when these need to be done, but it's here just as an informational purpose. On page 6, there was actually a new item added in here. Given your recent zoning ordinance amendments, we did add the special land use, planned unit development, and other development reviews that require public hearings. So that is actually a new section in this document, because your planned unit developments do require public hearings and public notice. So that is new. And then it gets into, so that's the legal basis for this. And then the next page gets into the key stakeholders of groups that you may want to involve, even if they don't fall within that, certain processes. If you're not within the 300-foot radius of a project, you might still want to include some of these local stakeholder groups. So as you don't have to answer, I don't put you on the spot now, but if you could all take a look at this list and just, it is 5 years old. So if there's any new groups or groups that have changed or anything like that, this is where we'd look for the Planning Commission's input to say, when we're sending out these notices, we like to just get it out to as many groups as possible and get it at the grassroots sort of stuff.
Yeah, one thing that popped into my head when I was reviewing this, it explicitly lists local university students and young professional groups, which is great. There isn't any explicit notice of like senior citizen groups.
Okay.
It does say social organizations,
Yeah.
but that might be a little bit.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
big. Cheryl, do you know for any registered like senior citizen groups? I know that we do senior citizen outings
I don't
as
know
a
too
city
much about the
recreation.
groups, but there's AARP, which is active, and what is AAA 1B, Area Agency on Aging.
1B.
1B, right? Yep.
So,
Also, if I could mention the public and charter school contacts as a
Oh, yeah.
stakeholder.
Yep.
excellent. So, thank you. And if you think of any more in the next couple, even the next meeting, just let us know and we'll make sure we get that in there. And as I said, this is relevant because we will be reaching out to these groups as we do the master plan update.
Great.
So this is that's why why this plan is here, so we can update it every couple of years. So those are the key stakeholders. If you flip to the next page, page 8 goes over the toolbox. So these, again, this is another method that things might have evolved over the last 5 years. I know social networking, social media, those are a lot more prevalent now. So there's all kinds of neighbors apps and things like that. So if you have anything specific that you and the community are aware of that might be appropriate for either one of these tiers. So as you can see, it's broken out into 3 tiers. 2 are on this page, and then 1 is on the tier 3s on the following page. And each one is a little bit more in-depth and a little bit more pointed towards getting specific answers. You can see it starts with newspaper in tier 1. Tier 2 might be community workshops or post mailing cards. And then tier 3 gets into like the canvassing, door-to-door, one-on-one interviews, focus groups. And we did add the online platforms to this. So surveys, I know we're talking about doing some story maps and things like that. So that's a more very active way to engage citizens. So again, any of these 3 tiers, if you see something that you can think you've seen in another community, you've heard of a project, you've heard of public participation reach you in a different way, please let us know so we can get all that in one spot.
So could you, for those who may not be familiar with charrettes, could you go over that for them? It's a planning tool.
Yeah, it's
a process.
Yes, it's basically where you kind of get to, it's similar to a focus group where you get together and just discuss, and you go over a series of exercises that might, kind of like a SWOT analysis or those types of activities can be included in the charrette. So it's a very pointed focus group type activity.
Is it French?
I don't know if it's covered in any of these, but we started an electronic newsletter that might fall in the tier 2 perhaps.
So yeah, I think we have the notify me email service, so we will make sure again, because it is the city newsletter, I think, it goes out every month, okay. So I'll make sure that we capture that specifically. Again, if you think of any more, just feel free to let me know, let us know. If you flip to the next page, this gets into some of the specific planning activities that occur in the city and the types of outreach that are, so the A is what's always done and the S is what's sometimes done. So this just gives you an idea that obviously a master plan update, zoning ordinance, those are types that get all 3 types, and then it works their way down. So if you're, again, this is another area where we want to ask you, you're in touch with the community out there. Are you hearing that people aren't getting notices about things, or there's maybe a more effective way to communicate messages about, controversial developments or, anything like that? This is all like the state requirements on here, and it's a mix of state requirements and your current practices. So this is again an area where we can, cater this. We can add some more public outreach. So this gives you an idea of what we're using public outreach to inform.
So I guess there's one statement kind of for the video. If anybody would like watching this on YouTube, if there are anybody in the community that's watching this and has ideas that we haven't thought of about ways to communicate with the community, then let us know.
And it is, it's, absolutely.
And communication can come through the city office via email, or call the office of the city, what have you.
So, thank you.
Thanks.
And then the next page kind of goes over how to communicate the results. This is sort of the standard methods for it. We did amend your social networking. We switched that responsibility to your community and economic development manager. It was somebody else in the city had that before, but I know that responsibility has been shifted over to that position. Everything else on this group or on this page has stayed the same, so that was just another area of change. So that's how we communicate that, and that's essentially your public participation plan. Those are the legal basis, how, why, and then how the results get communicated.
So the last 2 pages are about ways to capture the effectiveness of participation efforts.
Yes, so these could be
So like templates for surveys that we might give to people who are participating in any.
if you mail something out, or maybe include at the end of an online survey, just some ways to say, how did you hear about this? What was it effective? Was it grassroots? So that's kind of how they work in tandem to inform this plan.
Yeah. So one suggestion I would make is to use SurveyMonkey or some other online tools in order to capture that information as well. It can be very similar.
Yeah.
Same exact questions, actually.
Yeah, same exact, yep.
And then instead of giving out written surveys and requiring people to write them out their responses right then and there at the meeting, or requiring them to fill them out at home and then send them back,
Yep.
maybe we can just take people's email addresses and then send them emails when the surveys are ready and get their feedback that way, or even send links to this online surveys through Facebook groups and things like that.
Absolutely. Any other questions, comments, concerns with, hopefully no concerns?
Pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, that's all I have. And then, yeah, as I said, just take a look at this sheet. This has a little bit more information. That's part of the redevelopment ready communities, and it's part of a 20-page packet if you're interested in the broader program of how that can improve the city.
So we just contact you and Jill to get a copy?
Yeah, I can forward you. I can
Email.
forward Susie the link and have her, or I can get you the.
That'd be great, yeah. Actually, have
Yep,
Susie just send that.
just a
That'd be
link to a PDF, and it's all right there. Nice and
Perfect. Thanks, Matt.
clear.
Matt, do the text in red mean anything?
In the handout.
Yeah.
Handout, the best
Um,
practice? Is there significance
I
to?
don't know off the top of my head what the red text exactly means.
I'll bet you in the context of the other 19 pages, it's probably become apparent.
The what?
Yes.
There's 19 more pages to this document that we haven't seen, that we'll get in the PDF from Susie.
That's
So maybe,
this is the link.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
probably his
Links.
link.
It
Yeah.
looks like some of them are underlined, yeah.
so maybe it becomes apparent when we get the PDF from Susie.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely want to keep redevelopment ready, happy,
Sure,
because
yeah, we
since they're paying for half of this
And-
project,
and
so.
and that's one of the benefits, and
Yeah.
obviously, and they want you to, this is part of it where you're informed of all the stuff that goes on in the background.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So if there's no questions, this is something to look
Yeah,
for
at this point,
recommendations.
unless there's other discussion, we would entertain a motion to recommend approval or denial of the public participation plan that Matt just presented to us. Is there any other discussion at this point?
I like it.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the public participation plan.
Second.
So moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries for recommending approval of the public participation plan. That recommendation will go to the city council. Okay, now on to the next agenda item. Item 7 is old business. We have no old business to cover today, so that's great. Item 8, general communication and correspondence, which we have no items on that point today.
I have one point to
You
add
have
to
one?
that. I just
Okay.
wanted to let you know, for those of you that are here, that next meeting, we are going to be getting into, we've started the existing conditions portion of your master plan update. So we're taking a look, diving into the demographics, how those have changed since the last plan. We're going to be doing the Southfield Road corridor assessment. So you'll have hopefully some preliminary results and observations from that. So that's going to be coming to you next month, so just look forward to that. It's exciting stuff.
The information about the South Hill Road corridor, is that just study that Giffords Webster is doing?
Yes.
Have you communicated with the county at all about it?
No comment on that. I
Okay.
don't believe we're going to be working, I don't think it's as
It's
far
just
as.
an independent thing.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
just an independent on things you can do in the shorter term now to improve it.
Great. Thank
So,
you.
yep, that'll be coming, so
Thank you.
that's next month.
Cheryl, anything from the city office?
Sure. I'll have to make this go at least 30 minutes.
Okay, well, thank you. Just a couple of things I want to give you an update on. There's lots of activities going on still as we're winding up summer. This Friday, August 23rd, from 6 to 8 p.m., we have the back-to-school rally. There's a number of activities that'll be going on. It's all free, including the book bag giveaway with supplies and face painting, free hot dogs, lots of fun and activities. The police officers will be out here with the bike rodeo. I don't know if they're going to be painting the police car again, but I think the sheriff might be bringing out some of his big equipment, and the Southfield Fire Department will be here. So lots of activities for families to enjoy. And if you caught the city council meeting last night, you saw the presentation in regards to the Caribbean Fest.
I heard there was entertainment last night.
Yes, there was. Yes, there was. So that's going to kick off on September 7th with a workshop from 10 to 1 p.m. where especially children, but anyone can come and help start building their own costumes for the upcoming parade, which will be on September 14th. The parade starts at 9, and it'll be a festival for the rest of the afternoon, going until 9 p.m. And just before the festival, on Friday the 13th, there will be a Taste of the Islands VIP reception. So we hope everyone will come out and enjoy all of the festivities.
I intend to go to the VIP reception. I encourage you all to attend as well. Okay, I think that's all the general communication.
make one.
Oh, you have one?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I just want to give an update, just remind anybody who's watching that there is a ballot initiative on the ballot this November for a road and ditch improvement program. There is a lot of information available on the website, and I encourage people to go through the information. There's a frequently asked questions document. There's a calculator that'll help you determine how much the proposal will cost you. There's a video with an interview that was done between the economic developer. That's right, economic, was that her title? Susie's title? Community and economic developer and myself. That goes through all the details, provides all the facts and information that you'll need to know. So I encourage you to watch that. Like I said, it's all up on the website, and hopefully later this week or early next week we'll have an improvement to the website, so it'll be even easier to get the information. But we'll announce that link once it's up and live.
There's an FAQ in the lobby as well, yes?
Yeah, there's some poster boards down in the lobby. We'll also have, don't have them yet, but we'll have packets for people who don't have access to the internet. They can stop by the front desk and get those packets. We've got a town hall, I almost forgot that. We've got a town hall this Saturday at 9 a.m. Hopefully we'll get a good attendance to that, and there are 3 subsequent town halls. I don't have the dates in front of me, but we'll announce those. We're also doing some local sessions in people's homes. So if anybody wants to volunteer their home for their neighbors, I'm more than happy to come and talk about the project. Again, many avenues to get informed, so you can make the, so you can vote on November 5th.
Thanks, Bruce. Okay. Any other communications and correspondence? No? Okay, then we'll move on to our last agenda item, which is adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved and seconded. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.